Hello everyone. In this video we're going to be analyzing the 2026 House map for the month of April 2025, and I would say the Democrats' odds at retaking the House of Representatives has definitely increased. The Democrats keep outperforming in these special elections. They did very well in the Wisconsin Supreme Court election in April, and also we have to look at the stock market, which is continually going down almost every day. So a lot of forecasters for the economy have projected that the U.S. is likely to enter a recession this year. So that's only going to help Democrats because voters are going to punish Republicans for the economy faltering. So starting off with this map, we're going to be looking at the swing races here, and let's start with the races most likely to get redistricted or redrawn. So starting off with Utah, it's pretty likely that the Democrats are going to win that lawsuit because it was pretty much a Republican gerrymander in the state of Utah. They split Salt Lake City into like 3 or 4 different districts. So the fourth district is probably going to contain most of Salt Lake City, which would make it a safe blue district. So that's a net gain for Democrats. In Ohio, Republicans are going to be redrawing the map. They have to redraw the map. It's just according to their legislative redistricting order they got in there. They have to redraw, they're required. So they're probably going to make the ninth district a likely Republican district. It's already 6.7. They're probably going to push it to double digits likely. It'll probably make Capter retire. Amelia Sykes, she's going to be in for a big fight. This district's probably going to be turned into an R+5 district, which would mean she'd be the underdog here. But they'll probably redraw it that way. In Wisconsin, however, Democrats are redrawing the map. It's going to be pretty likely, now that they have that majority in the Supreme Court, that they look at the legislative map or congressional map for Wisconsin and that they're going to redraw it. The expectation was they're going to redraw Wisconsin's first and the third district into leaning blue ones. With the first district, they could even make it a likely blue district, and that's still just it's possible to draw a likely blue district in the first. Like you can make it D+9 while maintaining Wisconsin's fourth requirement for it to be a black opportunity district. You could maintain that while also making Wisconsin's first a likely blue district. So Steele is probably going to get drawn out here. The Democrats want to be aggressive, and I think they're going to be aggressive. So I think they're going to draw out Steele. And Derek Van Orden, Wisconsin's third, he's really screwed. He was already going to lose with the current map. Now Democrats are going to be able to draw this into a Democratic district, which is already like R+7. They're going to make it like a D+3 district, something like that. So I think Derek Van Orden's very, very done. I think it's going to be like drawn into a D+3 district, and he'll probably lose by a pretty substantial margin of like 5 points. They're also going to make Wisconsin's eighth a bit more competitive, drop up below R+10. But this is how I see them drawing the Wisconsin map. Okay, so now we'll just start off with the bigger states. We'll start off with California next. So California has a ton of competitive races, a very big state. Starting off the 22nd, Valadao won a pretty big victory in 2024. He got like a 6-point win. It's going to be a bit reduced this time around, but I still think he's the favorite. In the 21st district, Jim Costa just keeps underperforming in these elections, so I actually think he's going to win by an even smaller margin this time around. Adam Gray barely won last time. He's facing a pretty good opponent, but I still think he's a narrow favorite here. Josh Harder, I also think, is a narrow favorite in his district as well. Whitesides, he's probably going to win. I don't think he's going to get unseated either. Young Kim's going to be in for quite a competitive race. It's a narrow Trump district. Democrats are really going to try to unseat her, considering they already got most of their targets flipped in California in 2024. They flipped a bunch of House seats here. They're definitely going to target her next, but I still think she is the narrow favorite there because she is a bit of an overperformer. So let's go down to Los Angeles. 3 more competitive districts here. Dave Min's district, now that he has incumbency advantage, he's pretty likely to win. Derek Tran, good candidate. I think he's going to win by an even bigger margin next time around. And then we have Ken Calvert. This is a Trump plus 6 district. Will Rollins isn't running against him again. So I would say that Ken Calvert's narrowly favored to win here. He's a longtime incumbent in this district, but I think he's going to pull it off again. Now that Will Rollins, a strong challenger, isn't challenging him again. He raised a bunch of money last time, but he's not running. So that hurts Democrats' chances. All right, finishing off the rest of the West Coast here, we have Oregon. Janelle Bynum, she's in a pretty good spot considering she isn't facing Chavez DeRimmer again. She's going to win by a likely blue margin. In Washington, Marie Perez, I think she's doing a pretty good job here in this district. She's definitely won over a lot of independents from last time. I think she's the favorite to win yet again. She's doing well and portraying herself as a moderate as well, which will definitely win her votes. In Nevada, we got a bunch of districts here. So Horsford, he's going to win by a likely blue margin. Same with Titus. I don't think they're in really that much trouble. Susie Lee will be in the most trouble here, but she was even able to win as Trump won the state by 3, so I don't think she's going to lose. Arizona, we have 2 competitive districts here. The first with Swihart, I think he's going to win re-election again. However, Cisco Maney, I think he's going to be in a bit of a trouble. It's the most competitive district in Arizona. I think Democrats are going to put a lot of money to try to defeat him, and I think they're actually going to pull it off this time. Trump won't be in the ballot, so his coattails won't help him out in Arizona. In New Mexico, second, Vasquez won by 4 in 2024. So with the environment being bluer in 2026, I think he's going to win by a likely blue margin. In Montana's first, Zink, he won by around 7 last time around. I think it's going to be a bit of a closer environment for him this time, but I still think he pulls off the win. In Colorado, we got 2 competitive districts. So the 8th, I think Gabe Evans is probably going to lose. He barely won last time around. So I think Democrats are going to succeed in unseating him. In Colorado's 3rd, Jeff Hurd's seat, it's probably going to be about a lean Republican seat. It was just barely 5 last time around. So I think it's going to go a bit under that. Now in Texas, we got 2 competitive seats here. So as long as Henry Cuellar is running for re-election for the Democrats in this district, he will be the favorite to win. Vincent Gonzalez, I think he's also going to pull off the win here. But if Henry Cuellar gets arrested and imprisoned, then this 28th district is probably going to flip to the Republicans. He has a bit of a corruption scandal going on. In Nebraska, we have Nebraska seconds here. I think Don Bacon's one of the most vulnerable House Republicans. He's in a district that Harris nearly won by 5%. He only won by 1.9. So Democrats are going to really try to unseat him. They're going to spend a lot of money on this race, more than they did last time. I think they're actually going to succeed in finally unseating him this time around because, again, it's going to be a midterm environment, which is going to be bluer than 2024. So I think Democrats are going to be pulling off that win here. Plus, Don Bacon really isn't being moderate enough in Congress, which I think will hurt him in that district. In Iowa, we have 2 competitive districts here. Marion Miller Meeks, if she does run for re-election, she's going to lose this time around. She barely won last time. And I think we're going to have a bit of a rematch with her former opponent. Her former opponent's probably going to end up beating her. In the 3rd district, Zach Nunn, he did underperform Trump like Miller Meeks. But Miller Meeks underperformed by 8. Zach Nunn underperformed by 0.6. So I do think he's in a bit of trouble considering Democrats did well in the Iowa special elections. And again, with those tariffs, that's definitely going to hurt in a state like Iowa. It's going to hurt Republicans. So this is a prime seat for Democrats to flip. I think in a bluer environment, they're going to be able to pull it off because Trump isn't on the ballot here. He isn't there to win Iowa by 13 to carry those 2 House Republicans down south in Iowa. But those 2 northern Iowa districts are just safe, right? I just don't see them becoming competitive at all, honestly. Both have really strong incumbents that outperform Trump by a good amount. Okay, let's head to Michigan next. So in Michigan, we got three competitive seats. John James is going to face a pretty good challenger, I've heard. So this is going to be an interesting race to watch, but it is a very Republican, no, not very Republican. It's a likely Trump district, so he has that advantage going for him, which is why I have him as the favorite. Rivet may run for Senate here, so that's why I'm putting this as lean blue. I'm unsure of whether she's going to run for Senate or run for House. I think I'd lean towards her running for House, but due to uncertainty, I'm putting as lean blue. Barrett, he's in a very close Trump district, and the Democrats are definitely going to run a better candidate than last time around. So I think the Democrats are actually going to succeed in unseating him. So we got 14 more districts to go. We're heading to North Carolina. We have one district there. It's the first district. It really is reliant on black turnout here. So if there's low black turnout, Don Davis could actually lose this district. So because there's a big Senate race going on in 2026, Davis lucks out here. I think there will be high black turnout in his district just because of that Senate race. So I have him narrowly winning a re-election here. But it's a district to keep an eye on, that's for sure. In Virginia, we got two competitive races. Now, with all the federal firings going on, that's definitely going to benefit Democrats in a lot of these districts, which is why I think they hold on to the 7th. And I actually think that Kiggins is in a good deal of trouble here. It's a marginal Trump district, tons of federal firings, like I said. I think that's definitely going to impact her negatively, and I actually have her narrowly losing her seat here, just because I think that Virginia is going to see a bit of a wave of support for the Democrats here just due to all this federal firings. It's definitely going to impact the Republicans negatively there. Then we have Pennsylvania up next. So Pennsylvania has four competitive districts. The first district, Brian Fitzpatrick, he frequently wins by very large, safe margins. But I'm going to put this as likely Republican because it is a narrow Harris district after all. And I do think the Democrats will probably do better in this district compared to last time. Now, in Pennsylvania's 8th, Matt Cartwright is leaning towards running again for this House seat. So if he actually does announce he's running again for this House seat, he could potentially flip this district back to blue here. But since there's uncertainty of whether or not he'll run, even though he's leaning towards it, I'm still putting this as a narrow Republican district because Trump did win it by 8 points, a pretty substantial margin here. Scott Perry, on the other hand, he's a huge underperformer. And with Pennsylvania probably going to be bluer than it was in 2024, he's definitely going to go down here. I think he's very, very vulnerable. Ryan McKenzie is also pretty vulnerable. It's a narrow Trump district. He only won by 1. I think Democrats are going to pull off a narrow win here in the 7th. New Jersey, we have a couple of competitive districts here. But I'm putting... Yeah, let's just go back to full size here. I am putting Nella Puel's seat, New Jersey's 9th, as a likely blue seat. She nearly won by 5 last time around, and with the environment in New Jersey probably going to be a bit bluer than it was in 2024, I think she wins by a likely blue margin. Josh Gottheimer is running for governor, so it's an open seat. It is a narrow Harris district, but I think the Democrats can find a good replacement for this seat, so I'm putting this as likely blue. Now, Tom Keene, he's going to be in a competitive race here. It's only a very narrow Trump district, but I still think he's the narrow favorite to retain this seat. He's a bit of an outperformer. He won by 4 more points than Trump did in that district. Now we have New York. A few competitive seats here. Now, starting off with Pat Ryan, he's going to win by a safe blue margin. He overperformed Harris by a lot. Like 11, that's a huge margin here. Now, Josh Riley's seat, he did do pretty good in this district compared to Harris's performance, so I think he's a narrow favorite to win this seat. And again, he'll have an incumbency advantage. Michael Lawler, it's weird. I think he's actually leaning towards running for re-election to the House again, from what I've heard. He's being a bit iffy on running for governor now. He's reconsidering it. So right now, I think he's probably leaning towards running for re-election, so I'm putting him as a narrow favorite in this district. But we'll see. He might just go back to leaning towards running to governor again. We just don't know. But right now, he's leaning towards running for the House, from what I've heard. New York's 4th district is a narrow Harris district, and I still think Laura Gillen's favored to win this seat. Tom Suozzi, he won by a pretty decent margin. He outperformed Harris by a good bit too, so I do think he's the favorite to win this seat in New York. All right, going over to New Hampshire, we got one competitive race here because Chris Papias, he's running for Senate. It's a narrow Harris seat, so I am putting it as lean blue. Now we're going to Maine. So far, Jared Golden hasn't really announced whether or not he's running for governor in the state of Maine, so it is pretty uncertain whether he's going to run for House or run for governor. So, with that uncertainty, I'm just going to say he runs for re-election in the House because some other Democrats have announced they're running for governor. So, it's tough to say whether Jared Golden runs for House or not. If he does, I think he is the favorite to win. If he doesn't, I think the Republicans are favored to win this district. So for now, just because I'm assuming Lawler's running in New York, I'm just going to assume Jared Golden's running in Maine second until he announces he's running for governor, or we get big indications he's going to run for governor here. So looking at this map, Democrats are definitely doing a lot better than my last prediction. They're at 225 seats, the Republicans 210. So again, it looks a lot more likely that Democrats are going to win the House, their House majority in 2026. So yeah, that's kind of where I see the House map going as of right now, based on all the redistricting and people leaning towards running or not running. But yeah, this is just how I see the map going so far. Now, if you're new to this channel, you enjoy videos like that, you should totally subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it. Other than that, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.